Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants across the country, anywhere, nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. Goldbelly ships Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garden's famous cakes. So, if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT. That's goldbelly.com, promo code GIFT.
Welcome to Seeing with Your Soul, the podcast aimed to inspire you to find your voice and become the best, truest, and most authentic version of yourself. Spiritually intimate, soul-to-soul conversations, life-changing insights, and spiritual teaching and healing. Real, raw, unfiltered. Join your host, Tisha Michelle.
Have you ever had that feeling that you're just so happy and you kind of just don't know why, right? And it's just like, I don't know, you're like, I just feel so good. I highly suggest that you do your best to not allow like the ego or allow logic to, scan through your head and just be like, what am I really happy for? Like, what's really going on? And just, forget that and just instead embrace it, feel it, love it, because you deserve to feel happy. Welcome and welcome back to Seeing with Your Soul with me, Tisha Michelle, your host. So around here, I love to start off by expressing some gratitude. And in this present moment, I am just grateful for the customer service that I received at this particular restaurant. They're not sponsoring me, so I'm not gonna say their name. No. But yeah, I went out. I did a couple of like errands, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go and get me something to eat. And I want to sit down in there and I just want to eat. And I was by myself. My daughter said she didn't want to go. So it was kind of like that impromptu date with yourself. And, I went to the restaurant and I, ordered my food, and they have this particular, I'm not really a drinker, but I love, their apple moscato. And it tastes like a Jolly Rancher. It's scary though, because it tastes so good. But I'm one of those fruit people. So, I ordered the drink and I had like my nice little notebook, and that was just, just great to just sit there. But the lady was so dope, right? And it was an older lady and she was super nice. And I mean, just it's that nice customer service that when you get it, you're like, damn, that was like you were just nice. And she was just super nice. And she kept checking on me. And I'm that type of person that like when you keep checking on me, like, is everything good? Everything good? I'd be like, damn, I'd be so annoyed. But I guess maybe the older and the wiser I get, I don't get annoyed. Well, I wasn't annoyed then that she kept checking on me. And, we had like conversation. It's just super nice. So, I paid for my food, but then I had cash and I gave her $20 as a tip. And she was like, thank you so much. And I was like, yo, my pleasure. And then I was still sitting there because I was still sipping on my drink. And she came back like 5 minutes later. She was like, ma'am, I just want to say thank you so much. That was really kind of you. And I was like, no, thank you. I was like your service was amazing. And I really appreciate that. So I was just driving home and I said, oh man, there's a part of me that's just like, that's so crazy that somebody rewarding someone because they're being like so nice, right? Where I feel and I believe like everyone should be nice, right? But when you've had a lot of experiences of people who just really hate their life, they hate their job, they don't want to be there, they got shit going on, and they don't even try to, in a sense of hide it or whatever. They're just like, it's just what it is. Like, I'm gonna be nasty and I don't know what to tell you. So when you get someone that's just super nice, and I don't know what's going on in her life, she could be going through like a lot, but when she's there, she's being of service, and it was just amazing. So I'm super grateful for that, because it also reminded me, that there are some really genuine, like nice people in the world. And I can tell she was kind of taken back that I gave her a $20 tip, because my meal with taxes and everything, my meal, my drink and everything was like $32. And she was like taken back because I think like the 18% thing that had popped up or whatever said something like $6 or something. I don't know. I don't know math in that sense. But yeah, so I really was just like expressing that gratitude on my way home because I enjoyed it. Just like people just being so nice. And if you heard me talk like before, I'm always talking about like people aren't nice and I don't like it. And she was hella nice and I loved it. All right, so your turn. Unless you are driving, I want you guys to go ahead and close your eyes so we can really get grounded, right? And when I say closing your eyes, there's just something about the psyche. When we close our eyes, it just means relax, right? Or we're going night night in that sense. So, yeah, so close your eyes. Now, I want you to take a nice deep breath. And I want you to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. All right, let's take another nice deep breath. And I want you guys to just breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And let's get one more nice deep breath. So go ahead and just breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Yes, yes. So what are you guys grateful for? Have you guys experienced any great like customer service recently? If so, like express that, right? Maybe go write a review for the company. And if you know the person's name, put that, out there. Or the next time you're in that place, see if you see that person and just say, hey, I was in here. You probably don't remember me, but I just want to thank you. I just think that that goes like a long way. Sometimes people, they especially people who are of service, and that's what that is, like, that's of your being of service. They don't really get a lot of like compliments or recognition. And while I always express that we don't need those outside validations, I think it's different. I think everyone, likes to feel appreciated, and in a sense, if they're lacking that, or they're givers and they're always just giving, 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 and they don't really receive, that receiving might not come from the people that they're always given to, but it can come from a stranger that recognizes, their acts of service and recognizes how, nice that they were, or even maybe just even overly nice. And when I say overly, nice or kind, like they just want to beyond, because a lot of times we think, yeah, we're just going to get the basic treatment in these places and stuff. But yeah, so, what's up? What are you guys grateful for? Right. So yeah, I got this. Let's get into this episode, right? I got this text message from a client of mine, and it said, I really hate my body. Why is it doing this to me? I was like, wait, what? In my mind, I'm like, what? So I am not working with this particular client on like her body or anything. But what I have noticed is that my clients, even though I'm working with them on a particular thing and also getting to the root of it, they feel very safe and comfortable with me that they can say something like that, right? And I don't know with like everyone, some people in their circle, their friends or family, if they were to say something like that too, it may be followed back with like, oh my gosh, me too. Or like, don't talk like that, or whatever the case is. But for whatever reason, they feel safe. So I just messaged, this client back and I said, are you free to talk? Like, let's hop on the phone, right? Let's unpack this, right? And I happened to be free, so it wasn't like she had to schedule anything, right? So she was free as well. So we got on the phone and we just chatted, and I said, all right, so what did your body do to you? And went into all these things, and I'm like, that's interesting that you believe your body did that to you and not the other way around. So we unpacked it, and we got to where it was triggered, and the trigger came from something that someone said to her. And when we really unpacked it, it took back to growing up and being, made fun of her body, and then seeing, particular people, especially in the teenage years, that had really nice sizes. And I say really nice sizes is just her word, right? Because who determines what's a really nice size, right? You need to determine what's a nice size for you. So for me, which I'm not that brave in this sense to tell you guys how much I weigh. But I could weigh a higher amount and people not even notice in that sense because I'm really tall, right? So, and then people who are like shorter and they're packing on it, and I'm like, then theirs looks different because they're shorter, but I have a lot of height to me, so I get to spread my shit out. But really, a nice body is what is nice for you. So we unpack that, and and I let her know that when we are gaining this weight, again, we're just putting a shield of protection around us, right? So what are you protecting yourself from? What emotions are trapped? Where that energy being stored? So we say like, oh, I'm fat here and I have that. Okay, so that fat is energy, and where is that energy being is stored? So let's see what the wounds or the traumas, the emotions that's attached to that particular area. For me, it's my stomach. It's my stomach. And I know some of the things that I'm still holding on to, and I gotta let that shit go so I can release this weight, right? So, and she kept talking about losing weight, losing weight. And I said, well, let's change the wording and let's replace the losing to releasing. We don't want to lose anything because the psyche says if you've lost something, that's something that you would like to find. So once you quote unquote lose this weight, you don't want to find that shit again. So we want to release it. And why do we want to say also releasing? Because there's something that we're holding on to that's no longer serving us, and we want to release it. So we unpacked a lot of that stuff, and to really getting back to like our body, right? So I was like, you know what? Podcast time. And so, what I wanted to do was share 9 ways that you can really start to love your body more. Now, there's plenty of things, and I'm not even listing any of these in any particular order, but I just wanted to share them with you. So, number one, I want you to look at your body for what it is. It's your temple, it's your vehicle, the vehicle that you use to travel this damn earth. The vehicle used to flow in your purpose. It's the vehicle you use to bear children if you have children or you want children. So, like, respect it, feed it, honor it, right? Honor it. Look, it's your temple, it's your sacred temple, yours. Number two, do your best to not allow your weight or your shape to keep you from activities and things that you like, taking pictures, showing up on camera, on video, or maybe you like to swim, or you like to even walk, run, I don't know, whatever, like those things that you like, try not to allow that to keep you away from it, because when you do, you prevent yourself from being true to yourself. You're denying yourself. You're denying yourself the things that make you feel happy, right? So maybe like you love, putting on the camera and talking and stuff, but then when you look back at it, you're like, I don't like the way that I look. I don't like the way that my body looks. Right. So I'm not going to do this. So you had something that you wanted to talk about, something that you wanted to share, that you might have been passionate about, or makes you happy. And no, or you was feeling yourself and you were feeling good. And you're like, you take this picture, and then you look back at it and you're like, how can I add this filter? I added this filter. I did this. I did that. Made it black and white. But I don't like the way that I look, so I'm not going to post it. What? You are denying yourself. Why would you're not going to deny other people, right? But why deny yourself? Show up. Don't let your weight, don't let the shape, don't let any of that stop you from doing the things that you like. So, number three, instead of being your body's enemy, be its friend. Be its like dope ass biggest supporter. Like, what's up? Our body wants to be loved. And when we love our body, it loves us back. Like, literally, I know that I'm holding on to things mainly in my stomach, right? So throughout the day am rubbing my stomach. You would think that I was pregnant the way that I was rubbing my stomach. But I'm rubbing my stomach to say, like, it is okay. Whatever energy that is being stored in here, at one point, I felt the need to protect it. But honestly, I'm ready to release it. Like you're safe. You can be released. And when I say release, I am giving permission for the memories, the emotions, the stories, the narrative, for all of that to pop up and to show up in my life in whatever way that it needs to show up, so that way I can release it. I can release it. So you want to just look at your body and just be like, yo, I got you. Don't worry, I got you. Is it your knees? Okay. A lot of times when we're feeling, these pains in our knees, like what's the first thing we say? Like, oh, it's because I'm carrying all of this weight. So it's hard for me to get up or to do certain things. Well, yeah, you're carrying a lot of weight, but instead of looking at your body as only that physical sense, to say, well, is some of this weight that I'm carrying not even fucking mine? Whose backpack is this that I'm carrying? Right. So then, when you're connecting, say you're being your body's biggest supporter, you're like, okay, we got to work through some things now. We got to work through some things. We got to get these knees straight. So, yeah, so don't be the enemy, be the friend. Number 4, repeat this mantra: I am beautiful inside out. Everything on our external is a manifestation of our internal. So we got to work inside to the out. So I am beautiful inside out. Because guess what? You are. You absolutely are. Number 5, eat for nutrition, not taste. I'm talking to myself, guys. Like, I will eat the shit out of my feelings. And I know some of you could relate. I am 100% one of those people that will eat to eat my feelings. And I eat for the taste of it, not even for the nutrition. Also, and this is not to say, again, of course, we can just do whatever it is that we want, right? But when we allow ourselves to eat for nutrition and not just the taste of it, we're loving ourselves. This is, again, we go back to number 1. Look at your body for what it is. It's your temple. It's the vehicle it's the only one that we have. And if we want to truck along in this thing called, earth and life and go through this journey and stuff, then we want to provide the nutrition, right? And that nutrition looks different for everyone. Every single person, it looks different. Absolutely different. So eat for the nutrition and not the taste. Rest when you're tired. No more pushing through. I promise you, you will get more done when you rest. And I know you're like, how if I'm taking the time out? Because our body needs that, right? Our body needs it. Plus, the universe is going to force you to rest. If you don't do it on your own and you know that your body is saying, I'm tired, but like, I got to push up, I got to do this, the universe will definitely force your ass to rest. I remember one time I had so much stuff to do. And this was I don't really remember the exact time, but it was after the death of my best friend. And I was keeping busy. And you know how that is, right? Keep yourself busy, 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 because you don't want to feel anything. You don't want to think. You don't want to cry. You don't want to do any of that. So you're like busy, busy, busy. And I was just keeping myself busy, but I was feeling like I was tired. And I was like, I know I just need to chill. And then all of a sudden, boom, I had a high ass fever. Thought I was dying, literally. No symptoms of anything else but that fever that took me down for 24 hours. I was home by myself. I had a hard time getting to the bathroom just to get some medicine. I didn't even have it. I had the kids like Tylenol. So I was just like about to just buck that shit. And that was it. No other symptoms. And I could not get out of bed. And I had to lay there and rest for a whole day. And I literally was like, okay, universe, I hear you. Because I was ignoring my body and I was ignoring what my body needed. And the universe was like, let me sit your ass down, give you this high ass fever. No other symptoms, because nothing was wrong with me. I just needed to rest. My body needed to rest. I had just, the passing of my best friend and so much confusion and questioning my existence and life and everything in it, and this God and this universe and all of this stuff. But at the same time, then these gifts being like emerged in me. It was so much that was just going on that I was just like, what the heck, going. And my body was trying to tell me, you need to just chill out and you need to rest. And I ignored it. And then the universe sat my ass down. I was like, okay, enough said. Number 6, move your body. Right? Move your body. Work out to feel good and not necessarily to burn a particular amount of calories. And I'm just going to tell you, for me, I don't like to exercise. I think people who wake up and they excessive and they go and like work out and they're doing, I think they're psychopaths. And like some of my kids are psychopaths. No, I'm kidding. So nobody get offended, please. I'm kidding. I don't like to exercise at all. But not even but because that cancels out. However, I love to walk. I love to walk. And if I'm talking on the phone to someone, what? I remember one time walking like 6 miles, right? I like to dance. I like to put on music and just dance, right? And I'll be just dancing and I'll be daydreaming that I'm at this party and I'm the center of attention and all of this stuff, right? And this allows me to like move into like the flow, but I'm moving my body. And that's the thing, move your body. And if you just move your body and just allow it to just really just move, like you'd be so amazed at the love that your body is feeling from there. Tune into like what is it that you want when you're moving like your body. Like for me, I don't like to exercise. I like to walk. So embrace those things, right? If you like to dance, then dance. Maybe there's something, maybe you just like to stretch. Stretching is amazing. You're still moving your body and you're getting that blood flow, right? Like do you do that, whatever. Or maybe you do like to exercise. Okay, well make that a non-negotiable because a non-negotiable should be to move your body, not necessarily the exercise, but to move your body. Move it, move it. We want movement. Number 7, surround yourself with like joy. Where are you spending most of your time at? So like for me, especially when I come to Richmond, right? Because I don't have the place to stay. I stay with my mom. So when I come to Richmond, it always makes me feel hella uncomfortable because one, I love the sun, right? I love the sun. I'm in Arizona. I've been hella spoiled, but I also have my place there. So when I'm doing a session, I go in my room to do the session, and that's great. But when I'm in Richmond, I'm like, oh, I'm in my office, which is a car. So whether I've driven here or I rent a car, and I would spend a lot of time in the car doing sessions, banging them out, right? And my body doesn't like it. There's nothing like pleasing or appealing to that at all. I make the best of that experience, but it's not joyful. It's not comfortable. So I spend a lot of times in there and my body starts reacting a certain way. I mean, just think about it, it's just uncomfortable. You're sitting in this one spot and you're just stuck. So your body is in stuck, which is telling my psyche that I'm stuck. So, surround yourself with joy and really start to pay attention. Where do you spend most of your time? What is that? Can you brighten up like a particular room, like, or something in there? Because yeah, it's all connected. Our mind, body, and soul, it's all connected. It's all connected. So loving your body some more is, paying attention to where you're at, where you're spending most of that time. Number 8, detach from anything that makes you feel bad. Like, bruh, stop doing that shit to ourselves. Like, maybe it's magazines. Why are you looking at that magazine if it's making you feel some type of way? Because everybody in that magazine looks polished, right? Now you feel like you should be polished. And now that you're not quote unquote polished according to that magazine, you feel some type of way. Detach from people. Maybe there's certain people. Is there somebody that's always saying something about like your weight or your skin? And this doesn't have to do with just like the weight. Maybe it's your skin. Maybe it's things with your skin. Social media. Yes. Social media, TV. It tells you what this is. It tells you what that is. Yo, let me tell you, I was listening to the radio the other day. This shit had me so teed, right? And one of the chicks on the radio was talking. I don't know what they were talking about, but then she got to her segment or whatever. And she was like, guys, I want you to go to the website, whatever their website was, and I want you to go look at such and such picture. And she was like, yeah, rumor has it she's pregnant. And then she was like, sis, if you're not pregnant, I apologize because that is an unflattering picture. And then she went into something else. And in my mind, the first thing, I'm going to keep it 100. I was like, you bitch. Who are you to tell somebody what's unflattering? So you mean to tell me that if she is pregnant, that's cool, but if she's not pregnant and she looks like she's pregnant, that's unflattering? I'm like, okay, sis, like really? And this is like women's, month, really? And you talking about another woman, her like, come on now. So I went through that whole, humanism and stuff, and I was like, then it took me back, brought myself back down, and I said, people just aren't nice. And this is why people struggle This is why people struggle with the insecurities of their body, because you have someone who is of influence and of authority, right? Because she's on the morning show, right? That's just what that title and that's what that is. And you sitting there putting that out there about this particular person. And I can only imagine how many women look down at their stomach and was like, shit, I look like I'm pregnant. So, and so. You know what that means? That means that you've been holding on to some shit and now it's time for you to face it so that way you can be able to release that weight, right? Or be more aware of the things that you're putting into your body, right? And when I say that, because everybody's different, sometimes we have food sensitivity. So something that they say, when I air quotes over here, they say this is good for you or to cut back on this, and you're like eating those things, but you just don't know you're really fighting a battle that you're never going to win because you have a sensitivity to it that might not produce another type of symptom that you're aware of, right? Some people could eat a certain food and they break out and you're like, oh yeah, I'm never going to eat that shit again. But some people will have that sensitivity that is just doing something internally that we're just not, really aware of. So detach from that shit. If it's certain people on social media that you might be following, because remember, you get to choose what what you feed the mind, which is then, showing up in the physical sense in the body, right? Because again, mind, body, and soul, it's all connected. So you get to choose that. So if it's certain people on social media that you see that are portraying one particular thing as this is the way that it needs to be, delete them. Stop looking at those magazines. Get away from the person who's always plucking and saying, "Oh my God, you gained some weight," or "What's going on?" or whatever the case is. I don't even know. And like again, it doesn't even have to be necessarily about weight. But what triggered this podcast was somebody who was talking about like their weight. Number 9, make sure that you make time for yourself and connect. Like, what is it that you need? How is it that you're feeling? What does your body need? What does your body need? Like, I remember sitting in a meditation and it wasn't even like a full blown meditation. It was just like, I needed to take a little quick time out. And when I was rubbing my stomach, and I was asking, I was like, what do you need? What do you need from me? Like, how can I serve you? And this is, I'm talking to my body and I kept hearing detox, detox. You need a detox. And I'm like, what? Detox from what? And I just started Googling. And I was like, and the thing is when you get those messages, I don't want to act as if I know exactly what that means. Does that mean detox from social media, feeding the mental stuff that's making me feel some type of way, which is then packing on some extra weight, like, or what? But I just kept hearing detox. So I just went to Google and I was like, organic detox. And I just let things come up so that way I can scroll through until some things resonated with me. And I ended up ordering this like organic tea, and it's a 15-day detox. And when I was sitting with it, like my body reacted, and I trust my body and I will tune into my body. My body was like, yeah, girl, this is what the fuck we need. We need a detox. Stop playing with me. So I ordered the tea and I think it's perfect, for me, because I didn't want a pill. I didn't want any pill because in my psyche, it reminds me of medicine. And I don't like taking medicine because when I was first diagnosed with lupus, a few years ago, they had me on a shit ton of medicines. And just the thought of taking pills and stuff is just like, any chance I get, give me a gummy, give me something that I could chew, give me something I could put under my tongue and it just dissolves. But doing that pills, it just makes me feel nauseous. It makes me think of all those pills that I was on. And when I was diagnosed with that, I hadn't told anybody. I hadn't even told my mother. And she came over to my place and she was getting something out the cabinet and she seen all these pill bottles. And she looked at me and was like, is there something I need to know? And I was like, no. But shit, you seen all them things. You think I'm dying or I'm struggling to stay like alive. So again, it's trusting your body and knowing. So if it's something you don't like, see if there's an alternative. There's always an alternative to me anyway. Look for an alternative so that way you're not doing something that you already don't want to do. And then it's like you're fighting like against yourself, right? So it's a tea. And I was like, this is perfect. I will take this detox, sip on this tea. That is my time to just sit and just relax, to love on my body, to talk, positive things to my body, because my body is my temple. It's your temple, right? So, it's perfect, but I had to tune in, right? So make sure that you make time for yourself just like you do for everyone else, and connect, tune in. Your body will tell you what it is that you need. Your body will tell you when something is not right for you or someone is not right for you, right? It will. It will let you know. So remember, in order to truly love, you must love yourself. And that includes all of you, all of you. So if something that I said resonated with you or made you feel uncomfortable and you would like to unpack it, let me know. You can send me go to @Mindset Slayer on Instagram or email me at Tisha at Heal, Align, and Glow. Until next time, bye guys.
Thanks for tuning in to Seeing with Your Soul. If something you heard resonated with you, feel free to rate, review, and share with others. If you are looking to go deeper, you can connect with Tisha Michelle on Instagram at Mindset Slayer or visit www.healingalignglow.com.